Hey guys, tonight we begin with something very relatable: sleep, or more accurately, how medieval people slept, which turns out to be far weirder than most of us could imagine. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Hey guys, tonight we begin with something very relatable: sleep, or more accurately, how medieval people slept, which turns out to be far weirder than most of us could imagine. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you imagine lying awake at midnight, the world silent, except for the faint creak of your bed frame and the distant howl of a winter wind. Your mind wanders, not to tomorrow's to-do list, but to a time when sleep wasn't just a pause between desert, was a ritual, a gamble, a strange dance with the dark. I'm standing in the heart of medieval York, England, in the year 950, the air thick with the scent of wood smoke and damp earth. The city's cobbled streets twist past timber-framed houses, their thatched roofs sagging under the weight of a recent rain. The minster's silhouette looms against a starry sky, a reminder of a world ruled by faith and fear. As a night owl who's spent countless hours chasing the past, I'm gripped by a question: how did people sleep in an age when comfort was a luxury, and the night held secrets we can barely fathom? Come with me, step into the shadows of York, and let's unravel the bizarre, haunting, and oddly beautiful sleep habits of medieval folk. A story so strange it'll hook you, keep you up, and make you see your own bed in a whole new light. I'm walking through York's shambles, the narrow street buzzing with the ghosts of butchers and merchants, their voices long faded, but their lives etched into the stones. It's dusk, the sky a bruise of purple, and I'm headed to a modest home, its walls made of wattle and daub, barely holding back the 40 degrees Fahrenheit chill. Inside, a fire crackles, casting flickering shadows on a straw pallet, my bed for the night. This isn't the plush mattress I'm used to. It's a 6-foot-long sack, stuffed with 25 pounds of hay, maybe some heather if I'm lucky. I sink into it, the straw crunching under my weight, and immediately feel a prickle on my arm. Lice, maybe a flea or two. I try to ignore it, but the itch is relentless, a tiny reminder that sleep here is a battle against the elements and the critters. I pull on a wool nightcap, its pointed end flopping over my face like something a wizard might wear, and tug it tight to keep my head from freezing. The cap's coarse, woven from the same sheep that graze outside York's walls. And it's not just practical, it's a badge of survival, a way to say, I'm not letting this cold, drafty world win. Sleep in medieval York wasn't a single stretch like it is now. It came in 2 parts, a practice called segmented sleep, and it's so foreign it feels like stepping into a dream. Around 7 p.m., as the last light fades, I'd crawl onto my pallet, my body heavy from a day of hauling water or haggling in the market. I drift off for my first sleep, a deep 3 to 4 hour plunge into darkness. But then, like clockwork, I wake up. It's not insomnia. It's the watch, a 1-2 hour gap that feels like a secret pocket of time. I sit up, the fire's embers glowing faintly, and I'm not alone. My family, parents, siblings, maybe a cousin visiting from Leeds are stirring too. Their shapes huddled on the same 6-foot pallet. We're packed tight, elbows brushing, breaths mingling in the chilly air. It's intimate, not in a romantic way, but in a raw, human one, where warmth is shared like a currency. I can't help but smile, thinking of my modern bed, king-size and empty, and wonder if I've traded comfort for connection. The watch is where things get weirdly magical. I stoke the fire, adding a log that spits sparks, and the room glows a soft orange. I might whisper a prayer, asking for protection from the spirits. Rumored to lurk in York's shadow, stories of ghosts in the minster's crypts still linger. From market gossip, but it's not all solemn. I imagine chatting with my sister, her voice low as she recounts a tale of a knight who bested a rival at the city's tournament. It's like a medieval group chat, a moment to bond when the world is quiet. Some nights I'd hear giggles from the corner, where a couple, maybe my neighbors, Thomas and Edith, use the watch for a bit of romance, their whispers muffled by the straw. It's oddly charming, knowing that even in this harsh world, love found a way to sneak into the night. I feel a pang of envy for that closeness, a reminder that my late-night scrolling can't match the warmth of these shared hours. But let's talk about Agnes, a weaver I meet in York's bustling market square, her hands rough from years at the loom. She's a woman of grit, her eyes sharp despite the exhaustion of raising 3 kids and keeping her stall stocked. One night, I join her during the watch, sitting cross-legged by her fire as she mends a torn tunic by candlelight. The flame casts her face in a soft glow, and I'm struck by her resilience. She's not just surviving, she's creating, stitching dreams into reality while the city sleeps. "This is my time," she says, her voice steady. "The kids are quiet, the loom's still, I can think." We swap stories, hers about a merchant who tried to cheat her, mine about my strange, modern world of screens and coffee. It's a fleeting bond, but it feels profound, like we're stealing a moment from time itself. I leave her house, the stars bright above York's walls, and feel a surge of admiration. Agnes's quiet strength makes my own late-night hustles, studying, chasing deadlines, seem less lonely. Sleep wasn't just a personal act, it was social, woven into the fabric of York's community. If I stayed at an inn near the River Ouse, I'd share a 5-foot-wide bed with strangers, a merchant from London, a pilgrim headed to Durham, maybe a bard with a lute and a questionable odor. I'd lie there, clutching my purse under my tunic, hoping no one swipes it while I snore. The bed's lumpy, the straw poking through, and someone's elbow is definitely in my ribs. But there's a strange comfort in it, a sense of safety in numbers. I think of modern hostels, where I've grumbled about shared rooms, and realize these medieval travelers had it rougher, and yet they made it work. The inn's hearth glows, a dog curls up at the foot of the bed, and I feel the weight of shared survival, a warmth that's more than just body heat. Animals were part of the deal too. I picture a shaggy hound, maybe 50 pounds, snoring beside me, his warmth a godsend in a room barely above freezing. Chickens cluck in the corner, their feathers rustling as they nestle into the straw. Once, I wake to find a got nibbling the edge of my palate, its eyes glinting in the dark. I laugh, shooing it away, but it's a reminder that life here was raw, unfiltered, and a little chaotic. These animals weren't pets. They were heat sources, alarm clocks, and sometimes breakfast. I feel a mix of amusement and awe, thinking how my cat's occasional bed hogging pales in comparison. It's humbling, knowing sleep was a team effort, humans and beasts alike huddling against the night. You're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe. Turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The nightcap, though, is my favorite oddity. Mine's wool, about 2 feet long, dyed a modest green. But I imagine wealthier folk in York sporting embroidered ones, flaunting their status, even in sleep. I tug it over my ears, feeling the draft. From a window made of thin animal horn, letting in just enough starlight to see my breath. Women like Agnes might wear a coif, doubling as a modesty cover, because even in bed, society had rules. I chuckle, thinking of my own hoodie pulled up on cold nights, and realize some things don't change. The cap's warmth is a small victory, a way to defy York's relentless chill, and I feel a spark of pride slipping it on, like I'm part of this strange, resilient world. But sleep wasn't always peaceful. I lie awake some nights, hearing the wind howl like a banshee, or the minster's bells tolling for midnight prayers. The sounds haunting, a reminder that time here was marked by faith, not clocks. I'd pray not just for safety, but for the harvest, for my family, for the strength to face another day of labor. It's sobering, knowing every night was a gamble. Would I wake to a fire, a thief, or just another cold dawn? I feel a knot of fear, but also respect for these people, who faced the dark with nothing but a prayer and a straw pile. It makes my own sleepless nights, worrying about bills or deadlines, seem small. I think back to Agnes, her needle flashing in the candlelight, and I'm struck by a thought. Sleep in York was a mirror of life itself, messy, shared, and tough, but full of moments that bound people together. The watch wasn't just a break. It was a space for stories, for love, for dreaming of something better. I imagine hosting my own watch, inviting neighbors to share tales of York's nights or distant lands, the fire warming our faces as we laugh and shiver. It's a ritual I'd love to bring back, a way to connect in a world that feels too fast, too alone. These medieval folk, scratching through the night, teach me that sleep isn't just rest, it's a story of survival, of finding light in the darkest hours. This journey through York's nights has me hooked, and I'm betting you're curious too. What did sleep look like in other times, other places? Stick with me through Boston's fearful nights, Alexandria's ambitious dreams, and Washington's fight for justice, and we'll uncover more secrets that'll keep you up thinking. If you're as gripped by these strange tales as I am, hit subscribe to support this channel. It's your click that keeps these stories coming, lighting up the past for all of us to share. As I drift toward my second sleep, the straw rustling beneath me, I feel a connection to York's people, their lives woven into mine across centuries. The watch has taught me to slow down, to listen to the night, to find strength in the quiet. I pull my nightcap tighter, smile at the thought of Agnes stitching her way through the dark, and let sleep take me, dreaming of a world where every night is a story waiting to be told. Imagine waking in a world where every breath you take in the morning fogs the air, where your bed is a creaky cot barely wider than your shoulders, and the walls around you hum with the lives of strangers, neighbors you know too well, yet not at all. This is Kyiv, 1953, the heart of the Soviet Union. A place where dreams are squeezed into a 150-square-foot room shared with your family. A far cry from the sprawling 1,200-square-foot homes you might know in the US, Canada, or England. My name is Alina, and this is my story, a tale of grit, quiet rebellion, and the stubborn hope that pulses through a life where sleep is both a sanctuary and a hard-won prize. For you, lovers of history and bedtime stories, aged 16 to 40, I'm pulling back the Iron Curtain to reveal a world that's as alien as it is human, a world that will grip your heart, spark your curiosity, and lull you into a dreamy trance. Why did millions live like this? Packed into spaces smaller than your garage, sharing a single bathroom with 8 families. How did we find joy in a system that demanded everything: our time, our loyalty, our very thoughts? Stay with me. Let the mystery of this life unfold, and you'll drift off, wondering how a single night's sleep could mean so much. The air in my room is sharp, a biting 50 degrees Fahrenheit that nips at my fingers as I stir under a thin woolen blanket, layered with Dad's old coat for extra warmth. Unlike your memory foam mattresses or heated blankets, my cot is a wooden slab, its springs groaning like a tired old man. It's 1953. Stalin's shadow still looms, though he's just gone. And Kyiv's streets outside buzz with a city of 1 million souls navigating a new era. The walls of our pre-revolutionary apartment, thick as history itself, carry sounds that jolt me awake: pots clanging in the communal kitchen, a neighbor's sharp words over a missing spoonful of sugar, the wail of a baby 2 doors down, pipes moaning like they're haunted. This is no suburban bedroom with soft carpeting and a private ensuite. This is a 150-square-foot universe where my family, Mom, Dad, and I, leap, eat, and dream, with no space for secrets, privacy. It's a word as foreign as the Hollywood films we'll never see. Yet, in this cramped chaos, there's a strange warmth, a pulse of life that binds us, and I want you to feel it, the weight of it, the beauty of it, the sheer will it takes to rise each morning. I swing my legs over the cot's edge, the wood creaking under my weight. By day, this cot's our couch, hosting neighbors for tea, or doubling as a desk for my homework. Across the room, a 10-foot gap away, my parents' fold-out bed is already empty. Mom's up, Dad's gone to the breadline. Clothes hang on hooks along the wall. No closet to spare in this world where every inch is a luxury. I pull on a sweater, its wool scratchy but warm, and pause by the small table where we eat, work, and sometimes laugh until tears come. This room, no bigger than a modern American garage, is our everything, our shelter, our stage, our battleground. You, with your walk-in closets and open-plan kitchens, might shudder at the thought. But for us, it's home, a place where love and resilience stitch together the seams of daily life. How do you live when every moment is shared, when even your dreams feel like they belong to the collective? Keep listening. Let this world pull you in, and you'll see. Mom's at the corner of the room, the samovar, a gleaming copper heirloom, that survived revolutions, wars, and purges, sits proudly beside it, steaming with tea that's the heartbeat of our mornings. Its metallic temps fills the air, mingling with the faint must of old wood and damp plaster. Unlike your Keurig machines or breakfast bars stocked with cereal, our morning meal is simple: buckwheat porridge, kasha scooped into a chipped bowl, sweetened with a precious teaspoon of sugar hoarded like gold. I eat standing, saving time, the warmth of the kasha grounding me for the day ahead. Orange juice, a rare dream, a burst of color we might see once a year, saved for New Year's or a special day when Mom manages to snag one from the state shop 3 blocks away. Dad's out now, trudging a half-mile to the bakery line, a ritual where families like ours and the Petrovs next door trade turns to fetch fresh bread, cheap, state-subsidized, but costing 30 minutes in the cold. You might grab a bagel on your way to work. The real battle comes next: the bathroom. 8 families, maybe 30 people, share a 5 by 7 foot space-stained tub with a rusty showerhead, a cracked sink barely clinging to the wall, a toilet that groans with every flush like it's begging for mercy. Timing is everything. Too early, and I'm shivering in the 45 degrees Fahrenheit hallway, my breath visible in the dim light. Too late, and I'm stuck behind Maria, the elderly widow who moves like molasses, or Ivan, the factory worker whose gruff voice carries through the thin door. I grab my towel and toiletry kit, soap, toothbrush, a comb. This building housed a single wealthy family, now worn to splinters by decades of Soviet footsteps. The wallpaper peels in curls, revealing layers like a history book, faded floral patterns from Tsarist times, stark red stars from the revolution. The bathroom doors shut, Maria's in there, and Ivan leans against the wall, his stubble catching the light as he mutters, 10 minutes already. I sigh, resigned, my heart sinking, yet oddly comforted by this familiar dance. With endless hot water, what would you do, waiting in that cold hallway, knowing your whole day hinges on these stolen minutes? Your support fuels more stories like this, blending history and heart to lull you into sleep. Keep drifting with me, you won't want to miss what comes next. Maria finally emerges, her thin hair wrapped in a towel, her eyes offering a curt nod as she shuffles past. Ivan gestures me ahead, a small act of kindness that feels like a gift. In this crowded world, inside the bathrooms, steamy, the hot water a rare stroke of luck today. The tiles are chipped, the mirror fogged, but I move fast, soap across my face, toothbrush scrubbing, a quick splash of water, all in 7 minutes, leaving time for others. There's no lingering, no long showers like you might enjoy, no scented body wash or fluffy towels. This is survival, a race against the clock to get to work or school without sparking a neighbor's wrath. Back in our room, Mom hands me a cup of tea, its warmth seeping into my chilled hands, a comfort as vital as your morning coffee run. I sip, standing by the window where Kyiv's gray dawn peeks through threadbare curtains. The state radio crackles, not just with news of factory quotas or socialist triumphs, but with poetry, Pushkin's verses of snow and longing, read in a deep, soothing voice. For a moment, I'm lost in those words, their rhythm sparking dreams I can't quite name. It's a secret joy, this morning ritual, a flicker of creativity in a world that demands conformity. You, with your podcasts and playlists, might find it quaint, but for me, it's a lifeline. Outside, a small mirror by the door shows me clean, presentable fashions, a luxury we don't chase, unlike your closets full of trends. The stairwell smells of cabbage and tobacco, the elevator broken since before I was born. 5 flights down, my footsteps echo, each step a rhythm of purpose. Kyoto's streets hit me with a damp chill, the sky the color of wet concrete, the tram stops crowded, workers huddling under turned-up collars, their faces set against the weather. I squeeze aboard, bodies pressed close in a silent, shared endurance, a far cry from your car commutes or Uber rides. Through fogged windows, lines snake outside shops, women clutching string bags, hoping for butter or shoes. Posters proclaim the glory of 5-year plans, but the faces around me are tired, focused on survival. Can you imagine this? Trading your morning scroll through social media for a tram ride where every glance tells a story of resilience. At the Arsenal factory, a 50-acre sprawl of smokestacks and steel, I show my papers to a guard who barely glances up. The changing room hums with workers swapping coats for sturdy pants and thick shirts, their chatter practical rumors of winter boots at the store. A sick child hopes for a quota bonus that might mean extra bread. My lathe awaits, a hulking beast of metal and oil, its roar filling the air as I shape tractor parts for farms across the Ukraine. The noise is relentless screeches, clangs, the shouts of foreman a symphony you'd never hear in your air condition. Offices with coffee breaks and ergonomic chairs. Yet there's pride in this work, in turning raw steel into something that feeds a nation. My hands, calloused and steady, move by muscle memory, each part a small victory. Exhaustion creeps in, but it's a promise of deep, dreamless sleep tonight. A rest you might chase with sleep apps or white noise machines, but for me, it's earned through sweat and focus. Breaks are short 10 minutes for weak tea in a chipped mug, whispers about shop deliveries or a coworker's new baby. I dream of owning a radio, its music, a window to the world, or maybe an apartment of my own, though the wait list stretches years. To the hope of a better life, to the sketches I'll draw tonight, in the quiet of our room, when the baby next door. A way to claim something in a world that demands we share everything. You might post your art online or doodle in a notebook, but for me, these sketches are a secret, a spark of freedom in a sea of quotas. Lunch comes with a blaring horn, and I step outside, the drizzle cold against my face. The factory yard is in the cafeteria. I eat cabbage soup and a meat patty, subsidized to keep us working, a far cry from your salad bars or takeout. Conversations swirls, someone heard of a butter shipment, another's kid aced a math test. These moments, simple but real, bind us, like your coffee breaks or team lunches. I think of my sketches, how they capture this camaraderie, the way laugh lines deepen when he talks of his daughter. As I return to my lathe, the afternoon stretches long, the noise a constant pulse. I check each part, knowing they'll reach farms far beyond Kyiv, a quiet pride you might feel finishing a project or hitting a deadline back home. The communal kitchen is alive with smells, cabbage, fish, someone's burnt potatoes. I help Mom cook, slicing onions on our tiny counter, the samovar steaming beside us. We eat standing, saving the table for guests or Dad's paperwork. He returns with bread, his face lined from the cold, and we swap stories, his about the bakery lines. Gossip, mine about a new worker who jammed the lathe. Laughter cuts through the room's chill, a warmth that fills us beyond the kasha. Unlike your family dinners with endless options, ours is patched together from what's available, yet it's enough more than enough. As evening falls, I tune the radio to a music program, state-approved songs of love and labor. But sometimes, late at night, a neighbor's record player spins forbidden jazz. Its saxophone wail, a secret we share, like your underground playlists or viral TikTok. I sit by the window, the radio's poetry fading into static. I sketch a worker's hands, a machine's gears, a glimpse of Kyivu's skyline. These drawings, hidden under my cot, are my defiance, my way of saying I'm more than a factory hand. The system wants us to build socialism, but in these quiet moments, I build something else, a space for me. As I slip under my blanket, the cots creak, a familiar lullaby. Kyivu's glow filters through the curtains. Sleep is my escape, a place where I'm not a Soviet citizen or a factory worker, just a Lena, dreaming of poetry and possibility. You, with your smart lights and cozy bedrooms, might find this strange, but there's a beauty in this simplicity, a lesson in finding joy where you are. Stay with this story, let it carry you through the Soviet night, and you'll see how resilience and hope weave through every moment, pulling you toward dreams as deep as mine. I'm standing at the edge of Alexandria, Egypt, in the 1st century BCE, where the Mediterranean's salty breeze carries the scent of adventure and ambition. The city pulses with life. Ships creak in the harbor, their sails catching the sun, while the great lighthouse towers over the horizon, a beacon of human daring. My heart races, not just from the heat of this ancient metropolis, but from the electric presence of Livia, a woman whose name should echo through history but was nearly erased. As someone who stayed up late chasing dreams of success, of meaning, I feel a pull toward her story, a tale of sleepless nights and fearless defiance. In a world where men carved their names into stone, Livia etched hers into the chaos of power. And I'm here to walk beside her, to uncover the restless nights that fueled her rebellion. Step into Alexandria with me, where sleep was a luxury Livia rarely afforded herself. And let's unravel a story so bold, so shocking, it'll grip your soul and keep you awake, yearning to know how one woman dared to rewrite the rules. The streets of Alexandria are alive, a maze of marble and mud brick, where merchants shout, philosophers argue, and the air hums with the promise of power. I'm drawn to Livia's villa, its walls adorned with frescoes of gods and victories, a stark contrast to the straw palettes of medieval York or the fearful beds of Boston. Her bed is a marvel 7 feet long, raised 3 feet off the ground. Its wooden frame carved with vines and draped with linens, soft as a whisper. The mattress, stuffed with feathers, feels like sinking into a cloud, and I can't help but envy her, imagining my own lumpy bed back home. But as I lie there, the sea breeze drifting through the open windows, I realize Livia rarely rests. Her mind is a storm, churning with plans to outmaneuver senators, rally crowds, and wage wars. I find her dream journal, a papyrus scroll tucked beside the bed, its pages filled with scribbled hopes and fears, visions of triumph, betrayals, and a city bending to her will. It's a glimpse into her soul, and I'm struck by her vulnerability. A woman who commands legions, but wrestles with doubts in the dark. My own late-night journaling, scribbling goals in a notebook, feels like a faint echo of her intensity, and I'm hooked, wanting to know how she turned sleepless nights into history. Livia's life is a whirlwind of ambition, and I'm swept up in it, imagining myself as her confidant, sketching her strategies on papyrus by the harbor's edge. She's no ordinary woman. She marries 3 men, each a titan in Alexandria's political arena, and uses their power to amplify her own. Her first husband, Marcus, is a firebrand, a populist who stirs the city's masses with speeches that echo through the agora. I see them together, plotting late into the night, their voices low as they map out alliances. When Marcus is murdered on the Via Appia, his body bloodied by a rival's guards, I'm with Livia as she stages a funeral that shakes Alexandria. She parades his corpse through the streets, his wounds exposed, and the crowd roars their grief. Turning to rage, the agora erupts in riots, flames licking the sky as the people demand justice. I'm awestruck, my heart pounding at her audacity. She's not just mourning. She's wielding his death like a weapon, turning personal loss into political fire. It's a moment that feels alive, like the protests I've seen on TV, and I'm gripped by her courage, wondering how one woman could command such chaos. Her second marriage to Gaius, a charismatic ally of a great general, pulls me deeper into her world. Gaius is a showman, his speeches dazzling the crowds. But it's Livia who keeps his supporters loyal, her villa a hub of whispered deals and late-night meetings. I sit with her, my stylus scratching papyrus as she outlines plans to sway the urban plebs, her voice sharp with purpose. When Gaius dies in a desert ambush, leading troops for his general, I feel her grief like a weight in my chest. But Livia doesn't falter, she channels it, rallying his followers, keeping the populist flame alive. I'm amazed, thinking of my own moments of loss, how they've paralyzed me, while Livia turns pain into power. Her resilience is a fire that burns through the night, and I can't look away, drawn to her like a moth to a flame. Then comes Titus, a brash military leader whose name carries weight across the Mediterranean. Their marriage is a partnership of equals, and I'm there as Livia opens his letters, issues orders, and sits in on war councils. In 41 BCE, she does the unthinkable. She launches the Alexandrian War, raising 8,000 troops to defend veterans. Land rights against a rival, Octavius. I imagine standing beside her, watching her on horseback, her armor glinting as she addresses her legions. Her name is minted on coins, a first for a woman, and I'm floored, holding one in my hand, its metal cool against my skin. It's a moment of pure awe, knowing she's shattered every rule of her world. I think of modern trailblazers in politics, in tech, in protests, and feel a surge of pride, but also a pang of frustration. Why don't we know her name like we know Caesar's? Her story is a call to action, a reminder to lift up the forgotten, and I'm hooked, desperate, to follow her to the end. But power comes at a cost, and I feel it as Livia's war unravels. Octavius besieges her forces in Alexandria, cutting off supplies through a brutal winter. I'm with her in the city, the harbor silent, the air heavy with hunger. Her troops falter, and betrayal creeps in. Her allies waver, and Titus, far away, doesn't send aid. I read her journal, its pages now sparse, her words heavy with doubt. When the city falls in 40 BCE, Livia is exiled to Athens, and I feel her heart break, a raw ache that mirrors my own fears of failure. In Athens, she waits for Titus, but he's entangled with another ally, a queen whose name will overshadow hers. Livia's health fades, illness, stress, or maybe a broken heart. She dies at 43. Her dream journal left unfinished. I'm gutted, sitting in her empty villa. The seas whisper, a cruel reminder of her lost empire. Yet her courage lingers, a spark that ignites my own resolve. I think of my own dreams, the late nights I've spent chasing them, and feel a fire to keep going, no matter the odds. Livia's story is a lightning bolt, a tale of a woman who dared to command in a world that tried to silence her. It's shocking, thrilling, and it's got me hooked. How did she do it? And what happened next? Stick with me through Washington's dreams of justice, where another kind of fight unfolds, and we'll uncover more stories that burn bright in the dark. If Livia's defiance has you as captivated as I am, hit subscribe to keep this channel alive. Your support fuels these tales of forgotten heroes, lighting up the past for us all. As I lie on Livia's featherbed, the linens soft but cold without her fire, I clutch her journal, its pages a testament to a life that refused to fade. Alexandria's nights have changed me, teaching me that sleep is more than rest. It's a battleground for dreams, for power, for legacies that outlast the stars. I close my eyes, her story burning in my mind, and vow to carry her name forward, a beacon for anyone who dares to dream big. The sun beats down on my neck, a relentless August heat that clings to my skin like a second shirt, but my heart is racing with something stronger than discomfort. Hope. It's 1963, and I'm standing on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., surrounded by 250,000 souls, a sea of faces stretching from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial's marble steps. The air hums with gospel songs, the scent of sweat and determination, and the weight of a dream that could change the world. I'm a young activist, barely 20, my hands gripping a hand-painted sign that reads, "Freedom Now." I've always been a dreamer, staying up late, imagining a better future. But here, in this moment, I'm part of something bigger, a movement that turns sleepless nights into a fight for justice. What was it like to stand among thousands, to hear a voice that shook history, to sleep on the edge of revolution? Come with me to the March on Washington, where sleep was sacrificed for a vision so powerful, so electric, it'll grip your heart and keep you awake. A pilgrimage, the windows rattling as we cross state lines. My seatmate, a college student named Sarah, hums a freedom song, her voice soft but steady, and I join in, our words weaving a thread of courage. We're headed to the March on Washington, for jobs and freedom, a protest that's been brewing for years, born from the pain of segregation and the hope of equality. I clutch a piece of fabric, a patch for a community quilt we're stitching together, of unity, like the posts we share online today, binding strangers into a shared cause. I'm buzzing with excitement, but also nervous. What if this march fails? What if the world doesn't listen? The thought keeps me awake, my eyes fixed on the road ahead. But Sarah's smile steadies me, a reminder that we're in this together. We arrive in D.C. at dawn, the city already alive, with marchers pouring in from Mississippi, New York, California. I step onto the mall, the grass worn under thousands of feet, and feel a jolt of awe. There are students in jeans, clergy in collars, workers in overalls, even celebrities, singers and actors whose names I know but whose presence feels secondary to the crowd's energy. The Lincoln Memorial looms, its statue of Abraham Lincoln gazing down, a silent witness to this moment. I'm handed a bottle of water by a Red Cross volunteer, and I sip it, the heat pushing 90 degrees Fahrenheit, my sign heavy in my hands. I think of my late-night study sessions, fueled by coffee and ideals, and realize this is what they were forth this moment, this fight. Mastermind, a woman whose sleepless nights have built this moment. She spent 8 weeks planning this 8-hour event, her eyes red from late-night strategy sessions, her voice firm as she directs marshals to guide the crowd. I meet her on the bus, her clipboard a shield, her smile a spark. She tells me about the logistics, tracking buses, securing permits, even borrowing walkie-talkies from the Boy Scouts. It's a feat that makes my head spin, like organizing a music festival with the stakes of a revolution. I feel a surge of respect, thinking of my own all-nighters, how they pale next to her sacrifice. She shows me the quilt, its patches sewn by marchers from across the country, and I add mine, my fingers trembling with pride. It's a symbol of unity, a reminder that every voice matters, and I'm struck by how it mirrors the online communities. I'm part of people coming together, sharing stories, building something bigger than themselves. The march begins at noon, and I'm swept into the crowd, moving 2 miles toward the Lincoln Memorial. We sing, "We Shall Overcome," our voices rising over the reflecting pool, and I feel a lump in my throat. I'm walking beside a teacher from Alabama, her eyes bright with tears, and a factory worker from Detroit, his calloused hands gripping a sign. We're black, white, young, old, and I'm struck by the beauty of it. This isn't just a protest, it's a family. I think of my own life, the times I've felt alone in my fight for fairness, and feel a warmth that's more than the sun. The quilt, carried by volunteers, flaps in the breeze, its colors a mosaic of hope. I'm exhilarated, my heart soaring, but there's a whisper of fear. Will this be enough? The government's watching, the National Guard on standby, and I know the world could turn away. But as we march, linked arm in arm, I feel a fire kindling, a belief that we're unstoppable. Then comes Dr. Elias Carter, stepping to the podium at the Lincoln Memorial. His presence is calm, his dark suit crisp despite the heat, but his eyes burn with purpose. I'm near the front, my sign raised high, and when he speaks, the crowd falls silent, 250,000 breaths held as one. His "I have a vision" speech, 17 minutes long, is a lightning bolt. I have a vision, he says, his voice rising like a sermon, that one day we'll sit together as equals. A world where my children, future children, dreams of my own won't know the sting of segregation. The crowd erupts, cheers echoing off the marble columns, and I'm overwhelmed, my heart bursting with hope. It's like hearing a song that speaks to your soul, a moment that feels sacred, eternal. I glance at the quilt, its patches gleaming, and feel a connection to every marcher, every dreamer across time. But the dream isn't finished, and that's what keeps me awake. The march sparks the Civil Rights Act of 1964, banning segregation. But I know the fight continues. I think of today's struggles, racial gaps in schools, jobs, justice, and feel a bittersweet ache. The quilt, now folded but forever etched in my mind, reminds me that unity is our strength. I'm inspired not just by Ilias's words, but by Miriam's tireless work, by the teacher's tears, by the workers' calloused hands. This march isn't the end. I'm shocked by the power of 250,000 voices, by the courage it took to stand here, and I'm hooked, desperate to know how this dream will grow. What happens next in my time and yours? Stay with me through the restless nights of history, and we'll find out together. Tales that spark action and dreams. As I leave the mall, the sun dipping behind the Washington Monument, I carry the quilt's weight, Ilias's words, and Miriam's fire in my heart. The march has changed me, teaching me that sleep is more than rest. It's a space to dream, to fight, to build a world where every voice is heard. I close my eyes, exhausted but alive, and vow to keep marching, to keep dreaming, until the vision becomes reality. I've always been a night owl, my mind buzzing when the world falls quiet, drawn to the stories hidden in the dark. Sleep, that universal act, isn't just a pause, it's a mirror reflecting the lives, fears, and dreams of those who came before us. As I wander through history, from the cobbled streets of medieval York to the tense air of 1692 Boston, from the sunlit harbors of ancient Alexandria to the hopeful crowds of 1963 Washington, D.C., I'm struck by how sleep weaves together humanity's struggles and triumphs. This is the story of sleep, told through the lives of those who lived like ordinary people, bold women, and dreamers who changed the world. It's a tale that spans centuries, cultures, and emotions, and it's one that'll keep you awake, wondering how the past shapes the way we rest today. Picture me in York, England, around 950 CE, where the minster's shadow falls over timber-framed houses, and the air smells of wood smoke and damp straw. Sleep here is a strange, communal ritual, unlike anything I know in my modern life. The people of York, hardy and practical, follow a pattern called segmented sleep, 2 chunks of rest, split by a wakeful hour, called the watch. I crawl onto a straw pallet, 6 feet long and 4 feet wide, weighing about 25 pounds with its hay stuffing. It's rough, prickly with lice, and I pull on a wool nightcap, its pointed end flopping like a wizard's hat, to fend off the 40 degrees Fahrenheit chill seeping through the walls. I drift into my first sleep around dusk, maybe 7 p.m., for 3 to 4 hours, then wake for the watch, a 2-hour gap that feels like a secret pocket of time. I stoke the fire, its glow warming the room, and whisper prayers to keep spirits at bay, half expecting a ghost from York's ancient walls to appear. My family, parents, siblings, maybe a cousin from Leeds huddles on the same pallet, our breaths mingling, elbows jabbing. It's intimate, raw, a shared warmth that makes my modern king-sized bed feel lonely. The watch is where York comes alive. I imagine sitting with Agnes, a weaver with calloused hands and a sharp wit, as she mends clothes by candlelight. It's her stories of market squabbles and night's tournaments fill the air, and we laugh, our voices soft to avoid waking the kids. It's like a medieval group chat, a moment of connection that makes the cold, itchy night bearable. Agnes's resilience, stitching through the dark, strikes me. She's not just surviving, she's crafting a life. Some nights, I hear whispers from the corner, couples stealing moments of intimacy. And I smile, charmed by the thought that love bloomed even in these rough conditions. If I stay at an inn by the river Ouse, I share a 5-foot bed with merchant, a pilgrim, maybe a bard, with a lute and a whiff of ale. I clutch my purse, wary of thieves, but there's a strange comfort in the snores and rustles, a reminder that survival here is a team effort. Dogs curl up for warmth, chickens cluck in the corner, and once a goat nibbles my palate, its eyes glinting. I laugh, shooing it away, but I'm awed by how these people turned straw piles into homes, finding warmth in a world that offered none. Fast forward to 1692 Boston, Massachusetts, and the air shifts from communal warmth to chilling fear. I'm walking muddy streets, the harbor's salty breeze mixing with pine from nearby forests, but the town is gripped by paranoia. The witch trials are unraveling the community, turning neighbors into accusers and dreams into death sentences. I slip into a wooden house, its walls weathered by New England winters, and settle onto a 5-foot-long bed, raised 2 feet off the ground, its straw mattress crackling under my 15-pound weight. I wear my day clothes, a rough linen shirt and a wool cap to fend off the 40 degrees Fahrenheit cold, but sleep feels dangerous. I kneel, praying, if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take, my voice trembling. The Puritans believe the night is when demons prowl, and a dream of fire, water, or a black cat could be a divine sign or a devil's trick. I lie awake, heart pounding, imagining a dream landing me in court, accused of witchcraft. It's a fear that makes my modern anxieties, deadlines, notifications seem trivial. I meet Eliza, an enslaved woman from Barbados. At a prayer circle, I imagine the villagers holding their candles, casting shadows as lavender smoke curls upward, a desperate bid for calm. Eliza's stories of her homeland's stars are warm, but her eyes are wary. When she's accused of witchcraft, her dreams of yellowbirds and a man in black become evidence, and I'm gutted, watching her in a crowded courtroom, her hands bound. The trials, fueled by spectral evidence, send 19 people to Boston's Gallows Hill, and I feel a raw anger at the injustice. The prayer circle, with its lavender and whispered dreams, is a flicker of hope, like a modern support group, but the fear is relentless. I lie in my creaking bed, listening to the wind rattle the windows, and wonder how anyone slept through this madness. Eliza's courage, facing chains with dignity, inspires me. A reminder to question fear-driven judgments today, whether online or in person. Boston's nights teach me that sleep is a battleground where faith and fear collide, and I carry Eliza's story like a weight, vowing to honor her strength. Now I'm in Alexandria, Egypt, in the 1st century BCE, where the sun glints off the harbor and the great lighthouse stands as a testament to human ambition. I'm a confidant to Livia, a woman whose name should be carved in history but was nearly erased. Her villa is a world away from York's palates or Boston's ferrets. A 7-foot-long bed, raised 3 feet, draped with linens and stuffed with feathers, soft as a dream. I sink into it, envious, but Livia barely sleeps. Her mind churns with plans riots, alliances, wars. I find her dream journal, its papyrus pages filled with hopes and fears, a secret side of a woman who commands legions. I sketch her strategies. By the harbor, my stylus scratching as she plots to sway Alexandria's masses. Livia marries 3 men, each a power player. Marcus, a populist firebrand. Gaius, a charismatic general's ally. And Titus, a brash military leader. When Marcus is murdered, I'm with her, parading his body through the agora, sparking riots that burn the night sky. Gaius's death in battle leaves her widowed again, but she rallies his followers, her grief a fuel for power. With Titus, she launches the Alexandrian War in 41 BCE, raising 8,000 troops. Her name minted on coinza first for a woman. I'm awestruck, holding one, its metal cool, feeling her defiance pulse through time. But Livia's ambition leads to exile. Octavius's siege starves her forces, and Titus, far away, betrays her for another ally. In Athens, her health fades, and I read her journal's final pages, my heart breaking at her loneliness. Yet her courage lingers, a spark that inspires me to chase my own dreams, no matter the cost. Livia's story, set against Alexandria's golden sands, teaches me that women's contributions deserve recognition, a lesson that resonates with my own fights for fairness. I leave her villa, the sea whispering, determined to honor her legacy. Finally, I'm in Washington, D.C., August 1963, standing among 250,000 marchers on the National Mall, the heat pressing down but hope lifting me up. I'm a 20-year-old activist, my sin reading Freedom Now, part of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The bus ride from Chicago, 20 hours long, was a blur of freedom songs and a community quilt, my star-shaped patch a symbol of my dreams. Miriam, the march's planner, is a force, her 8 weeks of sleepless work shaping this 8-hour event. I meet her clipboard a shield, and add my patch to the quilt, a mosaic of unity like today's online communities. The march, 2 miles to the Lincoln Memorial, is electric students, workers, clergy, black and white, singing "We Shall Overcome." I'm exhilarated, my heart full, but nervous. Will the world listen? Dr. Elias Carter steps to the podium. His "I have a vision" speech, a 17-minute lightning bolt. I have a vision, he says, that will be judged by character, not skin. I'm crying, the crowd roaring, and the quilt flaps in the breeze, a symbol of our shared fight. The march sparks the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but I know the struggle continues. Racial gaps, injustice, echo today. Miriam's work, Ilias's words, and the quilt inspire me to keep fighting, whether through voting or speaking out. Washington's Day teaches me that sleep is a space for dreams that change the world. A call to action I carry forward, this journey from York's communal nights to Boston's fearful prayers. Alexandria's ambition to Washington's hope has hooked me, and I bet it's got you too. These stories of sleep, woven through time, are stories of survival, courage, and dreams worth fighting for. If they've stirred you, hit subscribe to keep this channel alive. Your support fuels more tales that light up the past. Sleep is more than rest. It's a canvas for human resilience. In York, Agnes taught me to find connection in shared moments. In Boston, Eliza showed me to question fear-driven judgments. In Alexandria, Livia urged me to chase ambition despite obstacles. And in Washington, Miriam and Elias inspired me to fight for justice. Apply this to your life by embracing adaptability. With others, question assumptions. Pursue your goals boldly and act for fairness. Whether it's a late-night chat, a moment of reflection, or a stand for what's right, let your nights fuel your days. What's your take on these stories? Did Agnes's resilience, Eliza's courage, Livia's defiance, or Eliza's vision move you most? Share your thoughts. How do you see sleep shaping your own dreams or fights? Your views build a community like York's Watch or Washington's Quilt, and I'm eager to hear them. Let's keep the conversation going.